up die. Feel the vibe, get ready to ignite. Untold stories in the airways, flying through the night. Experience voices, tales so bold. Streaming live, the truth unfolds. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's a wide variety. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can't hide. Aliens in the attic, UFOs in the sky. Cryptids lurking, oh my, oh my. Ghosts in the hallway, whispering your name. The paranormal, the unexplained. Become a VIP, get the inside scoop. Unlock the mysteries, be part of the group. Live streaming stories, they're talking to you. Super chats buzzing, join the crew. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's a wild member ride. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can hide. So if you've got the guts and you want to explore, tune into the untold, it's what you're looking for. From aliens to ghosts and all that's unseen. Untold Radio Network, where the world's mysteries convene.
Good morning, everybody. Today is a interesting show. Today is a hybrid show because it's partially live and partially pre-recorded. So my guest today that I was looking forward to, I've been working on for quite some time, Sean and McGuire, actually, I don't know, didn't show up. And these things happen as they do. And sometimes I get to do a live show, just me and you guys, and talk to you about whatever's going on. And sometimes I just air a pre-recorded show. Well, in this case, my pre-recorded show for this week has some things that I can't release yet in the beginning. So I have to do a live beginning with a pre-recorded episode. So today's show will be pre-recorded, but it's live right now. So guys, it's going to be a great episode. My guests are absolutely amazing today. You're going to love today's episode, no matter what. So it's going to be a good show. Coming up, guys, next weekend, we are going to be Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society in Oshkosh, Wisconsin at the first Beyond the Veil Expo of the year. It's going to be a great time. A lot of speakers, psychic gallery readings, and more. Oshkosh, Wisconsin, February 9th. Only $5 to get in. More info at wisconsincaps.com or beyondtheveilexpos.com if you guys want to come out. I am also going to be part of a ghost story night in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on February 21st. There's a play that is going on, The Woman in Black. And this is a special paranormally spooky play, I'm told. And it's running from now until, I think, March. So you can get tickets for any of the shows that are going on there. But the one that I will specifically be at afterwards will be on February 21st. I'll be part of a panel talking about actual ghost stories and hauntings and such. The panel is free with your ticket to the show. You can get all that information at MilwaukeeRep.com, Milwaukee Repertory Theater. And then, guys, in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, in April, we head on over to the Midwest Metaparacon. It is going to be a great 2-day event over there with a lot of great TV personalities. Jason Hawes, Sherry from Ghost Hunters are going to be there. Mike Ricksecker, Ronnie LeBlanc is going to be there. Draw a blank on some of these. Draw blank on some of these. That was bad. I'm never going to do that again. That's a lie. I probably will. And of course, guys, coming up in May, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, big 3-day event, Wisconsin Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Convention in Appleton, Wisconsin. Friday night, we are going Bigfoot hiking out in Upper Wisconsin in Oconto County. We are going to have a VIP dinner with some of our guest speakers, as well as they will be joining us on that hike. And then Saturday, we have the convention proper with all of our vendors, over 30 vendors for you guys to shop and peruse. And then we have speakers and a gallery reading, and a brand new documentary will be released that day as well. So it's going to be a great day at our convention. And if you guys are sad you can't make it out in person, we also have virtual tickets. That's right, guys. So anybody that can't make it out in person, for just $5, you can purchase a virtual ticket, and you can still attend it virtually. These all the speakers will be live streamed throughout the day. And if you still can't watch it live, you can watch it at your convenience after the event has ended, and rewind it and fast forward it to your little heart's content. And then, guys, we are headed to the Chicago Paranormal Convention on June 7th. It's going to be a great day in Chicago. It's a free event, Countryside, Illinois. I'll get you guys more information on that as it gets closer. That is what we got there for that. And so then, now we get to play. If you're interested in showing your support for all things here on the Untold Radio Network, here's how.
Untold Radio Network fans want exclusive perks and to support our channel? Introducing our YouTube membership program with 3 amazing levels. Get loyalty badges that level up to different cryptids the longer you're a supporter. How cool is that? You'll also get access to custom Bigfoot emojis and priority in chat. Upgrade to Backstage Pass for exclusive wallpapers, photos, status updates, discounted books, and merchandise. Go all in with the producer level for everything mentioned, plus member shoutouts. Ready for an enhanced experience? Join now, pick your membership level, and let's make this journey even more exciting together.
All right, guys, today's episode, I want to remind everyone, is going to be pre-recorded. My guests today are Angela and Jeremy. They are a husband and wife ghost hunting duo who, alongside their 4 children, have sought out and investigated countless haunted locations, not only in the greater Midwest, but throughout the United States as well. Angela and Jeremy both grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the home of the infamous serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. They met in 2008 as co-workers for a small family law firm in Waukesha, Wisconsin, brought together by their interest of all things spooky and weird. Their relationship was fortified by their interest in the paranormal and the unexplained. In 2020, the two developed Fear Itself Paranormal, a family-focused ghost hunting group and paranormal investigative team consisting of themselves and their children. The group's focus is on collecting and analyzing of evidence of spectral occurrences and paranormal events, which they share with their followers through social media platforms, including YouTube channel that boasts nearly 1,000 followers. While other families may bond over picnicking and leisure activities, Angela and Jeremy and their family have made ghost hunting the fulcrum of their family time together. Their group has investigated numerous haunted hotels, bars, abandoned speakeasies, prisons, graveyards, asylums, and schoolhouses, among others. They have been featured on podcasts and on the paranormal, and have been welcomed as guests, paranormal experts, at local schools. Their work investigating the paranormal has brought their team face to face with the shadowy world of the unexplained occurrences, lurking spirits, and otherworldly presences, where nothing is as it seems and is the ultimate showdown with fear itself. All right, guys, they're also a sponsor of our Cryptids, Anomalies, and Paranormal Society event. Please welcome Fear Itself Paranormal, Angela and Jeremy. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi, thank you so much.
Good to be here.
Awesome. It is good to have you guys here. Thank you so much for being a part of the show and for sponsoring our event.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about sharing and working together as a community to kind of promote ourselves and learn from each other. So I'm super happy to have you guys here. It's always good to meet new teams and get the promotion and stuff out. So that's a lot of stuff, man. This is really cool. You know, like we started doing a presentation for CAPS, and it's called A Paranormal Family. And it's me and my mom, and we go around and we talk about all the places that we've been for Bigfooting and cryptids and stuff that together as a family have done. And it's really cool to see that, you know, your whole team is your family.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. And actually, sometimes we kind of branch out to other parts of our family as well. Like my sister will also join us. My stepdad, he actually is one of the persons that got me really into the paranormal. And so it's very family centered, and it's a great way to bond with our family. It's always fun to, you know, get scared together. But our kids love it. We have 4 different kids that are all different age groups. We actually have a blended family. So 3 of the kids are stepchildren, and then we have a son of our own. So it's a great way for us all to bond together. What are our age groups? We got a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old now, 16-year-old, and almost an 18-year-old. So as you can imagine, they're in all different places. So it's always nice to be able to, you know, have that where we can bond and bring everyone together. And I know it's kind of weird because we're in a spooky place, but we all really enjoy it. So
yeah, that's awesome, you know, because, you know, like I don't have kids of my own, you know, but, you know, you hear a lot of these people who do have kids, the parents, as kids get older and stuff, their interests change, they start rebelling back and forth and so on. So it's really cool that you have so many age groups there that are all still interested and still involved and still active in this. That's really cool way to get them to stay in it. So.
It is, and actually, it's even branched out even further now. One of our oldest, she actually brings her boyfriend now and goes hunts with us because he's also into this as well. So it's cool. It's a great way, like I said, to communicate with the kids in a different way and to have something else to bond over.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, you guys were both interested in the paranormal and stuff before you met each other, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
we
really
both
cool.
were.
So well, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, we've had different experiences. Myself personally, my family, I think, has been haunted for forever. So from as long as I can remember, we've had weird occurrences happening in our homes. Specifically, one was actually, it was my mom. And we were all home alone. My stepdad had left to go deer hunting. And I was sleeping, I think I was like in 8th grade at the time. I was sleeping in my room. My sister was in her room. And out of nowhere, my mom burst through the door and she's like, "Hey, you need to come downstairs and you need to look at something really quick." And okay, fine, whatever, you know. And I start to walk down the stairs and she stops me. And as we're standing there, she's like, "Now watch." And there was a black shadow figure, and it was like not a blob, it was a figure, and it floated all the way across our living room walls. And it wasn't like a shadow like through the window, because it floated past the window as well. And our living room has like nooks and crannies in it, and so it was going through each of the nooks and crannies, like it didn't pass over it. It was really weird. And then in addition to that, our dog was going nuts and just barking and barking and barking. And then the figure floated into the wall, and our dog just started like scratching at the wall and trying to get through the wall to get to it. And then the dog just stopped and then walked away like nothing happened. So my mom then looked at me and said, "You saw that, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what was that?" She's like, "I have no idea. I just was sitting here and all of a sudden it just showed up in the living room." So that's kind of how it all began.
Wow. Yeah, that's a large start to it, I suppose. Yeah.
Yes. And so I've had numerous experiences. I think one of my other favorite things that happened to me was so I have was married before, and my ex-husband was a non-believer. And so we used to have little, tips about like whether or not ghosts exist. I'm convinced that his house was haunted. So I was in the basement doing my laundry, and his daughter, who was like 5 at the time, I saw her come down the stairs and was standing and watching me do the laundry. And I could see it just like in my peripheral vision. I didn't look right at her. And I could see her standing there. I saw her walking on the stairs, saw her standing there, and I told her, I said, "You can go upstairs. I'll be right up there. I'll be right there." She just stood there. And I'm like, "You can just go back upstairs. I'll be right there," as I'm putting more laundry into the washer and into the dryer. She didn't move. And I turned around to say, "I will be right there." And she was gone. And so I walked up the stairs and I asked my husband at the time, I said, "Where is she?" And he's like, "She's been upstairs the whole time on the second floor." So that would have been 2 floors down. And I said, "Did she come down at all?" And he's like, "No, she's been upstairs the entire time." So it was just one of those really weird occurrences where it was like, I know someone was there because I saw them. So
Do you think it was like a doppelganger of her, or do you think it was just a different small child?
I think it was just a different small child. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to explain because, like I said, it was in my peripheral vision. So all I could see was short and like long dark hair. And I guess what kind of adds to it too is my stepdaughter at the time, she actually would wake up with these really weird nightmares all the time. And she woke us up one time and kept telling me that she sees people that died in a sewer. And I'm like, okay. And, like, that's weird, like, I'm like, "You just had a bad dream." And she's like, "Oh no, they're here right now. And they said, don't worry, they won't hurt you." And so that was just like, okay. And even then, my ex-husband's like, "No, that there's nothing going on." I'm like, okay.
Interesting. What about you, sir? What have you had?
And Ange has a much better background as far as that stuff's concerned. But my only real experience with the paranormal before we started getting into this was when we had done an investigation at Shakers in downtown Milwaukee, which is the old Al Capone speakeasy. And we had done an investigation tour there, and they had said that it is possible that some of the spirits there have in the past attached themselves to folks that have been there doing investigations. And we're pretty convinced that may have been what happened, because from that point forward, maybe for the next week or two, we just had some really strange stuff happening when we got back to the house. So we had an incident where there was a broom in our kitchen that was at one point leaning up against the wall, and then we left the room for a period of time, came back in, and the broom was standing straight up off the wall on the floor, which was something I've never seen.
We took a picture of it.
Took a picture of it. And so that was creepy. And then I had gone to work. It was the next week, and I work on like the 7th floor of an office building. So I got in the elevator, hit floor 7. It went up past floor 7 to 11 by itself. Doors opened, doors closed. Then it went all the way back down to 1. Doors opened, doors closed again, and then I hit 7 and went back up. But there was just a couple of really strange occurrences. I'm like, seems like there's something to that. And so that, with a couple other experiences afterwards, what sort of led us to say, hey, I think we can do this too, or we should do this, or maybe something's pointing us in the direction of doing this. And so that's kind of the catalyst that created what we have today.
Right. That same week, actually, to add to that, I was home by myself, and there was, I was working from home, And so it was middle of the day, no one's around. This is pre-COVID, but no one was around and everything was closed up. I had nothing on, no TVs or anything. And I went to go down into our basement to do laundry. And as clear as day, there was a young woman who asked me, "Hey, how are you today?" And it was like just a whole sentence. And I just kind of sat there like, did I actually hear that? And I looked around and nothing was on. And so I just was like, fine. And then walked away.
You don't want to be rude. You got to answer.
I figured it was nice of them to ask. It just was like, I've never heard a voice that crisp and clear before. It was just the weirdest thing. And it was like cool, but like scary at the same time.
Yeah.
I was home alone.
Mhm. So I got to ask, with the broom, what happened to it? Did you ever did you have to grab it or move it, or did it fall over on its own, or was it just stay standing there?
It was upright for a while. What did we?
Yeah, we didn't want to touch it. We were scared. We no, we took the picture of it, and then at the time our children were really young. I mean, I think our youngest was a baby, and I think the oldest was like maybe 10. So it wasn't like they were doing it just to mess with us. And I think eventually we just, after we took the picture of it, we put it away. That was it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'm curious what happened to the broom, if it's still standing there today or what.
It would be really weird if it was. I mean, we don't live there anymore, so we have a different broom now.
Okay, yeah. The new owners are just like, this broom, it's stuck here. I don't know how to move it. We've redone the floors, painted, moved. It still stays right there.
It still is right there. I mean, at least it was a cleanly ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't complain there.
Yeah, very true. It's like what is the Mickey Mouse thing where the broom and the mop and stuff all animate and clean for him.
Mhm.
Sorcerer's Apprentice.
There you go. Yep, that one. Yep.
Love it.
You caught him in the act of cleaning the kitchen, and they were like, not doing nothing. Don't worry about it.
Well, they probably saw how messy our kids are and left, and that's probably why they haven't followed us.
Gave up, left the broom just standing there.
Yeah.
They're like, this is too much.
Very cool. Well, I got to ask you, being that you have kids of all ages and different groups here, you have a unique opportunity to study the paranormal from an aspect of the kind of experimental side of this.
Mhm.
And a lot of the times when you get into the paranormal and stuff, we hear about, like you even mentioned, how younger kids have experiences, see things, and are closer to the other side. So I'm interested in what have you gotten, besides what you've already said, if anything else, of any of your other kids going on these investigations and having unique experiences because of that connection yet?
Yeah, actually, just recently we just started utilizing the Estes method, and that's something that we had never done before. So it's fairly new to us, and we decided to do that at a location that we went to in October. And we picked this location, and we took our youngest with us. He was the only one that came at that point. So we were in a room that was primarily used for children. So children would go and play in the attic, and they were friendly. There was nothing that was sinister or anything about it. Because side note, we do get a lot of poo-poo from people saying that, we put our children in situations that, are not ideal. And for the record, we don't. We make sure that anything that, if it seems remotely sinister, they don't come to those locations. So, but anyway, so we went to this location, and we had our youngest, his name is Liam, and we had him do the Estes. So we had him put on the headphones, had him listen to the spirit box. And obviously he's not, a seasoned ghost hunter. So, he's just relaying to us what he's listening to. And we were asking all these questions, and we had so many responses. We had little kids that were telling us not to play with their toys. Every time we would, and he had blindfold on too, so he couldn't see us. I'd go pick up a toy, and he would say, stop playing. And I would ask questions like, well, where did I put this toy? And he would answer where I put the toy. And it was like immediate, we've done the Estes method a few times, like I said, and that was by far like the best responses that we ever got. And then we tried it and nothing came through.
Nothing. Yeah.
And I don't think that our son even realized what was happening, because after like a half an hour, he just took the stuff off and he's like, "Can I just be done?" And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "Well, it's boring." And I'm like, "It's really not. You have no idea what you just told us."
He just had a full conversation with us about a stuffed animal that he didn't even know he was having.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. And so we found out a lot about some of the kids. We're actually going to try to go back there this year because it was a fantastic location. Definitely recommend it. It's the Washera County Jail. It's like a historical place now. And I don't know if anybody else, if you've been there or heard of it, but it's fantastic, fun, great history. That's kind of why we were really interested in it. We got to meet the paranormal investigators that work with that particular location. Great people. They're lots of fun. We're looking forward to seeing them again. I think they're actually might be coming to the May convention. So
yep, that would be Phantasm Paranormal, and they're also going to be on the show. Yeah. Yeah, they're great people. They're going to be on the show as well, promoting their tours and stuff. And yeah, we actually the Caps team actually was just there as well, and that'll be an episode coming out on our YouTube later this year. But we actually got an EVP out in the jail. Very clear EVP out in the jail, and it was loud enough that we all heard it. So it was really cool experience. So, but.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll look forward to listening to that. Yeah, it was a fun place.
Oh,
we
yeah.
were in the attic most of the time. So
oh yeah, we were up there, and it was well, let me ask you this. Not to spoil our episode or anything or anybody else, but right at the top of the stairs, you go up the stairs to the attic and turn to the right. And everyone on our team, right at like the corner of the top of the stairs, felt dizzy off, like we're standing in like a portal up there.
Oh, wow.
It was very like we all just started to sway, and then we'd walk out of there and we'd feel fine. But if you'd stand right in like just directly out from the corner of the top of the stairs there, we all got really disoriented, like we were afraid we were gonna fall down the stairs right there.
Oh, that's scary. Yeah, no, we didn't. Did you have that? I don't.
No, I didn't have an experience like that. No. Was that by the kitchen? There's like a kitchenette or something
above the kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
the attic where the kids are.
Okay. Yeah, no, we didn't really have any dizzy spells.
No, the weird thing, and I was so upset that it did not catch on, because of course it doesn't catch on camera, right? Both Jeremy and Liam were upstairs in the attic, and they were switching the battery for the camcorder out, and I was at the bottom of the stairs, and we had a camera kind of set up looking down the hallway, because Aaron from Phantasm said that he had seen some apparitions or full-figured apparitions. So we were trying to catch that. And so I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs and asking the guy, like, "Hey, did you need help? Do you know what you're doing?" And in the bedroom that's next to us, which is like the little kids' room, clear as day, I heard a little gurgle. And I was like, "What is that?" And so like I walked in the room and I'm like, "Ooh," and I told them, I'm like, "I hope it caught on camera," because it was just loud. And of course it did. You can see my reaction on the camera, but you can't hear it. So
when we were up in the attic, we had I think 11 cameras running throughout the whole place at one time there. And the camera that was in the little kids room there, when we were up in the attic, we had a REM pod in there and some other equipment we left in there. And while we're in the attic, the REM pod went off and our camera in that room fell over. So it's not on video.
Oh, of
So,
course.
yeah. But we all heard that and we're like, "Where's there a REM pod?" "Oh, it's down in that room." So we all went down there and nope, camera didn't catch it, nothing. So
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff though. Very interesting location. Very interesting.
Did you encounter the smell in the kitchen?
I didn't do much in the kitchen. I know one of the other members of our team and stuff was in there, but I didn't. So
Okay, so
we kind of
apparently,
split up, so.
yeah, apparently there's a woman in there that will cook, and if you tell her what you like, she'll make it, and it like permeates the hallways and you can smell it. Usually it's sauerkraut though, so it's kind of gross. So we were told not to tell her to make that because it stinks.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned that, I'm trying to think. I do remember kind of a weird smell, but I'm trying to think if that was there or not. I don't know.
They also said brownies, I think. Sometimes you can smell like a brownies or like a chocolate cake. We picked up a voice in the attic. Is that where we picked up the voice that said "Watch out"?
Oh yeah, we sure did on the spirit box.
It's so faint.
It sounded like it said danger or something like that. We were talking and I had like stopped for a second because I thought I saw something, and so I like kind of cut off for a second, and then you can hear in the spirit box it whispers and it says danger, and then I start talking again. And so I'm like, oh, well, maybe that was Liam. Like maybe he was whispering. And so we had we had two different cameras going on, and I checked both angles and no one's talking at that time. So I'm like, that's just really weird because we caught it there. And then we came home to listen to it because sometimes, you have to double check to make sure you're just not scaring yourself.
Yep.
And yeah, everything that we looked at came up with. There was no one else talking and it was strictly just that voice. So it was cool. But scary, but cool.
Yeah. When you're out investigating, do you have I call them reverse EVPs, and it's happened twice at one location that we've worked, and everybody on our team clearly heard a girl talking, and we run several cameras, several audio recorders in the area. We all have GoPros and stuff on, so we cover our audio and stuff very well. And nothing captured it, even though we all heard it. Have you gotten anything like that?
No, I just had the girl laughing at the Washera place. That was, like I said, I know I heard it. I mean, there's no little girls running around laughing. And I was by myself. So, and I don't think it was me. I wasn't throwing my voice. But yeah, no, that didn't catch it. But I think we have had that in the past where we've had things. I can't think of anything specifically. But I know that there's been times where I'm so excited to go back and listen to the audio and then there's nothing there. Or I'll be really excited to look at the video and then the video will be corrupted. I've had that happen quite a few times. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe it was the SD card. So then I'll get another SD card and same thing. It'll go corrupted. So we've had that happen a couple of times, which is a bummer.
I have a pile here of SD cards that are no longer in service because they don't work, and so I keep them over there because I can't use them anymore. But we have learned from a lot of experiences, paranormal, Bigfooting, and everything that if you walk around with one camera, you're gonna lose something. So like I said, we all had cameras, and there was 6 of us, and then we had stationary cameras throughout the building. I want to say it was 11 to 17 cameras that we had running the night that we were just at that the jailhouse there.
That's crazy.
So that gives you kind of an idea.
Yeah, I've noticed, and maybe it's just us, but I've noticed that the camcorders seem to always be the things that they mess with. Mostly because we use like our phones to record too. So we have a bunch of, like you do, we have tons of different ways to record it because sometimes the video quality is actually really great, especially with pictures for like the iPhone and things. We get some pretty good pictures, but I think like almost every time there's always at least one thing that's corrupted on there. And it's like, of course, that's the one thing I was looking forward to watching.
Yeah. Yep. An entire camera angle just goes, nope, we're not going to record today. So
yeah, it's very frustrating.
And then you bring it home, you look at the camera, and it works great. I don't know. I've had pieces of equipment and stuff as well. Just like, oh my God, this thing is broke. It's $400 piece of, ghost hunting equipment. Doesn't work. Can't get it to work. You try everything. And then you take it home, turn it on. It works great. And you're like, are you kidding me? Really? Yeah. Like you just didn't want to work at that location? Nope. Didn't want to. So
yes. Yeah, no, that's very frustrating. The battery thing too. We've actually had to buy several extra battery packs and just hook them up to the camcorders because the camcorders drain within like 20 minutes. And it's like, oh yeah, no, that's not going to work.
Yep, absolutely. It's it's weird. So what? Let me ask you guys this: what do you think is causing that? Like, why do you think that the paranormal and energy and stuff? What is the connection that you see there?
Want to take that?
The non-scientific explanation for it. That's
Yeah.
Energy affecting energy, I think, is probably
Mhm.
just the best explanation. Simple but effective.
Yeah.
There's got to be some energy involved there, and there's a connectivity there that they're drawing energy from your devices. So it's sort of natural.
Yeah, I'm a huge so I know like this is not a very popular opinion. I really love spirit rods. That's probably one of my favorites. Simple. I know you hate them.
Not to.
I love spirit rods. And the reason why is because to me, I feel the energy coming from I can feel it in my hands almost. It's like a vibration. It's like a really weird, and I don't feel it all the time. It's only in certain locations that I can feel it. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're moving them and you're doing this and you're doing that. And it's like, but I don't want to do that. Like, I'm not purposely doing it because I want to have some correspondence, but I actually get a lot, I think, from there too. And I want to, I think I do. And like I said, it's like I can feel the energy. And I've also spoken with like a medium, and she had mentioned too that she noticed that I have like a lot of connection to the spiritual world. And she had even said, like, one thing you should really focus on is trying to help them, because you have like a motherly feel to you. Like that's what your aura is. And so we've been trying to focus on that to try to get more interactions, trying to say like, hey, do you want me to tell someone something? Do you need something? Trying to reach out that way to get more of an interaction with the spirits. So I just totally went off on a tangent there. Back to energy.
But it all relates. It's
yeah. So I think it is an energy thing, and that would explain a lot. So I mean, what wasn't there like a quote about energy? Like energy never goes away. So
energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be altered or changed. Yeah.
Yes, that.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what that is.
Well, I think going on to your point of the rods and stuff, every piece of paranormal equipment can be faked, manipulated in some way, shape, or form. And the fact is you have to know what your equipment is, how it works, and the principle behind why we're using it and that. And if you know that, then you can eliminate all these false positives and all the stuff, like with the dowsing rods or the spirit rods. I like the ones that have the extra handle. Mm-hmm. So you have the rod, but it comes back to your hand and it goes through a free floating handle of some sort, like a wooden handle with the metal rod coming out. That way you're not actually holding the rod itself, you're holding the handle. And depending how you tilt your hands and stuff, you can get the rods to move in that, but you have a less likely or a more scientific way of using them when you're not actually holding the rod yourself. So it's all little things like that the consistency, the scientific method of being able to conduct these experiments and knowing how your rods and how your equipment works to say, okay, this could be me doing it, or it isn't because of this, and being able to support that. That's all about what our team does, is having these experiences, but being able to back it up with the science, because all this stuff, you call it paranormal because it's beyond our normal understanding. But the more we understand science, the more we dig into this stuff, the more that's coming out from NASA and all these other quantum computing and all that stuff, the more we're finding out that this paranormal stuff is actually just science, and we're starting to understand more and more of it. And the more you can do that, the more, when you have these truly unexplained experiences and stuff, the more unique that is to have those. And then you have this really cool evidence that you cannot disprove. So
right. Yeah, no, and you're right about the spirit rods. That's essentially the kind that I have too, is those. And there is a lot of people that'll say, like, oh, well, why don't you like tape them to a wall or something and then see if they work? And to me, I don't think that will work because I feel like they're using energy, my energy, to manipulate them. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I mean, obviously, as starting out ghost hunters, back when we started, obviously, at first you're like, oh, it's an orb, and it's actually like a piece of dust flying past. Or as you continue to keep doing it, you're right, you go through all these scenarios. Well, was it this? Who was here? Let's check the other cameras, because sometimes there's just stuff and you're like, yeah, I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure if this was us or not.
Yeah. I think we always want to see something paranormal, but I think what we try to do is what we all should try to do. I think we start from the standpoint of what are the reasons this couldn't be paranormal? How can we disprove it? And that's what we always try to start with. It sounds like you do the same thing. I think respected people in the field do the same thing, but we always try to approach it now from that standpoint. And I think that's what you got to do.
I have spent countless hours editing videos and stuff, and I've seen almost everything that you can name, and you would be amazed at how long I have spent tracking down things, because we're in pitch black rooms and this shadow walks across the room and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? This is amazing, only to find out that IR light casts shadows, and there's no light in there except the IR cameras, and this shadow walks across and blocks out the IR light that I forgot was in the other room. And I'm like, okay, yep, never mind, throw that away. And you hear this voice coming from this camera, and I spent literally about a half hour debunking this one audio clip, and it's one of my investigators about to cough. So he's got a really rasp in his throat, and I don't listen to the clip long enough to hear him finally go and cough it out. And then I finally go, oh my God, I just wasted a half hour of my life listening to the rasp in your throat. And yeah, it's just little stuff like that you learn that, okay, we got to debunk this. And you go through, like you said, you check all your other cameras. And that's why we all have cameras on us, because if there's a female voice, I can go every female on my team, every person that's in that house, I can listen to that camera, even if they're upstairs in the basement, wherever we are. And you can say, okay, that was them talking, even if it's just really quiet and muffled, I know what they said, where they said it. And then when you get these audio clips that are not anybody, it makes that so much more unique and important and stuff, because you actually have this honest to God EVP clip. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Sure. The worst part though is like when you find that and you're like, oh my gosh, and you get that feeling like you get numb in the legs and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. And then you realize that it's actually like a shadow of someone else on your team. You're like, it's like the best and the worst feeling, like within like, half an hour gap there. And you're like, okay. Yeah, it is. I do someday it would be nice to have someone edit our own videos, but I do all the editing, so it takes forever because I'm the one going through. If you're at a location 8 hours, you're really actually looking at like 20 something hours of footage plus
or more.
And, yeah, right, exactly. And so it's like it's a daunting task. It takes a while to do. So it would be nice to have someone else do it. Anybody out there?
Yeah. But the problem with that though is some of these locations, like when we've end up doing like personal houses for people, I pass this on to some of my other team members and stuff. Okay, here's some videos and clips and stuff, go look through them. And usually their own stuff, because they know what they've done, right? Because if I'm watching it, I see something completely different because I wasn't there. And they know, I hear a sound and they're like, oh no, I bumped into a table, that's what it was. I know that it was, but I don't know what they did in the room, so I can't tell. But the problem is all of our stuff is such high quality video in that there's no good way to share all this. So it's been trial and error with my team trying to get this stuff out to the rest of my team, we finally started putting videos on YouTube privately and then putting them on a locked page of our website that only our team can get to, so that they can watch these all, because there's so much footage. I mean, I'm sitting next to currently 8 12 terabyte hard drives.
Wow.
And that is a lot of data.
That
And
is.
they're all almost full. I literally just bought a 22 terabyte hard drive. So now I'm upping my game to I guess double the size from now on, because in 1 year we fill 12 terabytes, just because, like I said, we run, 12 to, well, if we're out doing something else like bigfooting or something, we have like 3 or 4 cameras on us. We have GoPros for audio and that, and then we have the night vision as well if we're out at night, so we don't have as much. But when we're doing a location and we're able to film all this, and have stationary cameras to watch areas, that adds up really fast.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. No, you are definitely right about that. I've had to go through quite a few flash drives myself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's fun, but it's also it's a lot. So
yeah. Do you save all your data, or do you kind of just pick out the evidence and then junk the rest?
It depends. So like if it's something where, it's the camera's on and we're just kind of like all just sitting there joking around, or, nothing's really happening, that gets deleted. But if like there's even if there's like no evidence whatsoever, but it's just kind of like a cool shot where we're walking down a hallway or something, I'll keep things like that, just like to use for like future videos as like a, an intro or something. But yeah, I try to weed out the stuff that I know we're never going to use and just delete it out of there, because otherwise there's just so much. I mean, I just went and bought another notebook just so I could write down exactly what everything is and the times and everything, because it's so much and you can't remember.
Yeah, we have people at like the jail, for instance. What we did is not going to be out till later this year, and our usual turnaround time for when we film something to when you see it on our YouTube is about a year, because and I don't go over anything that we've gotten at a location until I start editing it. So it takes that long, and people are like, well, what did you get? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet. What do you mean you haven't looked at it? Well, I have a backlog of, like a year's worth of stuff that I got to go through. And we film things in different things. Like if we're doing like this Bigfoot documentary, I have stuff from 2020 and I have stuff from 2024 that are part of this. Okay. So, it takes a long time to put something together in that. So it's a lot of video editing. Yeah, there you go.
You're making me feel much better, because I'm like, wow, it took me like 4 months to get this out. And I'm like, I'm such a slacker.
Oh, no. I've had the opportunity to work with some television production now as well. And it takes about 6 months to a year to edit that as well, from when it was filmed to when you actually see it on TV and stuff. And so I don't feel so bad, because they're like, oh yeah, maybe this will be out next year. And I'm like, what do you mean next year? Like, get on this. I thought I was slow. You have a whole production company. Oh no, sometime next year it'll be out. Okay.
Yes, this is making me feel a lot better.
Yeah. One of the things we filmed was supposed to be out last fall, and now it's supposed to air this October. And we're like, what the heck is that? You took 2 years now. So waiting on that one to air, but that'll be cool when it comes out. So
that sounds exciting. Yeah. Well, no, I feel much better now, because like I said, my goal was to get something out by Christmas, and I'm like, yeah, nope, it's not happening. Here we are still in January, and I just started looking at it. Wow.
Absolutely.
Well, I stare at a computer all day for work. So it's like, you go from that to then having to stare at a computer screen all night. Your eyes kind of need a break.
Well, we do all kinds of stuff, like we do private investigations and stuff like that. And then we do our investigations. And then I host these 2 shows, the Paranormal Spectrum and Monsters on the Edge. So I am on the computer. If I'm not asleep, I'm pretty much on the computer. So it's a lot. Yeah.
But it's something you enjoy, so it doesn't feel like a job. Right?
Sometimes. Very cool. I was going to ask you guys something else about I don't remember what that was. All right, we'll come back to that. But so it was something about the family and your kids and stuff, and I can't remember what I was going to ask you about that. I don't know. Well, we'll come back to that, because my other question was, I know that you guys have gone outside of Wisconsin and to some other locations and stuff like that. So what has been your favorite place that you've gone, or most unique location?
Well, I think well, for me, I would separate it out as far as like cool wise. We went to the Lizzie Borden House in Massachusetts, and that from like a historical standpoint was just really fun. Like it was really awesome. We did some ghost hunting there. It wasn't fruitful just because it was like a whole group and there's people there that we didn't even know, and then they split you up, and it's a small house and you can hear everyone. But just to be there it was awesome. And if anyone's able to do just like the sleepover and they can be by themselves and investigate, highly recommend it. It'll be spooky. I would say my favorite investigation that we've done out of state is in Iowa, the Edinburgh Manor. It's an asylum, and just awesome. I can't even put it's cool because there's just so much history there as well, and we've gotten so much stuff from there, but also like kind of scary.
Very dark.
It is. Yeah, that was like one of our best spirit box sessions I think we've ever had. And mostly because in the spirit box we were trying to get some answers, and we were like, who is this? And we try to be respectful. If they say like leave us alone, we're like, okay, fine. We're done. But at one point, we were like, who is this? And they kept like giving us some gibberish answers, and I'm like, but no, who is this? What are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. And at one point it just stopped and it said, Angela, stop. And I said, okay. And I'm like, and we're done.
First name basis from spirits usually puts an end.
Yeah.
That was pretty.
That's one of my favorite things. Like when we go and do talks at schools and we play that, I mean, like even the teachers afterwards go up, they're like, I have goosebumps. And I'm like, yeah, that's how I felt. I still get goosebumps when I talk about it. It's weird to hear your name, spirit box. And it's not like a name that's like Bob, like something like real short and, Angela, and it was clear. I mean, it wasn't like, I think they said that. It was, we heard it. We both were like, okay, we're done. What about you?
A lot of EVP there. I think for me, since you did Edinburgh and took mine, I'll do the Rock Island Roadhouse in Illinois, the old YMCA, was maybe for me even creepier than Edinburgh. We had a lot of EVP, a lot of conversation, like full on conversations with at least one of the spirits there,
Mooney,
which we think was, I mean, there's Al Capone ties, and it was a brothel, of course, at one point. That guy seems to be everywhere. I think he's haunting pretty much every location in the Midwest. But apparently, it was at least a mobster hangout, and so we think we made contact with one of the henchmen that was responsible for sort of watching the door as Johns would come in, and responsible for keeping track of the women and that sort of thing. And he was very, let's say, sinister necessarily, just like overly mean? Direct, grumpy, mean. Yeah, I mean, it was very, the conversation was very pointed, short, bossy.
Yeah.
But it was pretty neat too, because it went on. We were it was concentrated in one room for the most part with that gentleman. And the conversation started at one point, and then we left, and then we came back and picked up almost the same conversation where we left off with the same spirit an hour or two later. Yeah. It was the same sort of tone.
It was, and it was interesting because we had for that investigation, it was the two of us, and my sister came, and then her best friend. And anytime we would talk to the spirit, and we were doing the Estes method, anytime that any of the women would talk, shh, girls, shh. And it kept telling us to be quiet. And then it would keep trying to talk to Jeremy. And like, so Jeremy would talk to it and it would reply. And if we would say anything, we would laugh. It would go, shh, girls. So at one point, I think it told us to jump out the window.
Yeah.
It was like,
Nice.
Yeah. They kept calling me funny guy.
yeah.
You're
a funny guy.
Funny guy. Yeah. So that was unique, a unique experience. But yeah,
It was.
but there were places, points of that location that I think were very dark. One of the back rooms, we did the Estes method. We got some pretty dark readings in there about wanting to hurt us and that sort of thing. So that was wild. But it was a lot of activity. I would say that's probably one of the top spots.
Yeah, I think they actually have a where you can log in and watch a live stream that they just have rolling constantly of their hallways, and you can just like, we're probably doing something really stupid. So if somebody like logged in and was watching it during that time, they probably saw something weird, you know, like we were picking our nose or something. But it's really cool because you could just like, I think you could just like pop in their stream, you could just watch it and just kind of, it's like playing from home, kind of.
Oh. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's look into that. I remembered my other question as soon as you started talking there. So when you're talking about, you know, this is a whole family thing and, you know, with your kids and stuff like that. So a lot of these locations have a really cool history with them. And I'm wondering if you choose any of your locations to do as a family and stuff, kind of to teach your kids about the history of these locations.
I don't know if that's what I wouldn't say that's not how we plan them out, but we tell the kids about the history when we go to certain locations. So we like to do just some type of like, why is it haunted type of research. I don't like to get a lot of from like the people that own the property. I don't like them to tell me what's gone on, who's there, what they've heard, because I don't want that to, you know, be in the back of my mind. And then I think, oh, well, then that was Sally then, you know, type of thing. I want to get our own answers. But no, we talk to the kids and we kind of give them like I would say like a G-rated version of like the events that have happened in certain locations, because some of them are not the best. But like I said, a lot of the locations that we go to, we try to keep the kids out of things that we feel would be a dangerous situation. One of our goals is to go to was it Kansas, the Sally House. That's one of our like bucket list places that we really want to go to, and that's something we would not take the kids to. So.
Very interesting. Yeah, I know. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. The kids definitely bring out the fun in every location that they've been to.
Oh yeah,
and they tend to bring out more activity. I've noticed because we went to the theater in Oshkosh, and they there was some really sort of fun. It seems like when they tag along, fun events sort of ensue. And there was an instance where you and Kyle were in one of the old dressing rooms for the performers, and you put on some old time sort of swing music or something.
Oh, they wouldn't. Yeah, they wouldn't talk to Kyle and I. We all kind of broke up in smaller groups, and the room that Kyle, my son, 14, we were in, and we were just sitting there. And he's, by the way, probably the scaredest out of all of them. Like we just finally got him to start like thinking like it's fun to go, because at first he's like, oh yeah, I want to go, and then we get there and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. But he actually went in and stayed. But we were in one room and we were in there, I would say 45 minutes, and we were not getting anything. Nothing was moving. The cat balls weren't going off, no lights, nothing. We couldn't get any, not even on the spirit rods, nothing would work. And so as a joke, I said, oh, well, this is, you know, the opera. Why don't we play some opera music? And all of a sudden the cat balls started going off all crazy. And then I'm like, okay. So I turned off one of the cameras because one of them was my phone, and I had a camcorder rolling. So I'm like, okay, this will, you know, we'll record all this with the camcorder. So I turn on, you know, the music from the opera, and it only would like interact with one of the songs. So I would keep playing that one over and over again. And then I was like so excited to show all of them. Like, oh my gosh, you should see all this interaction we got. It's amazing. Put in the camcorder SD card, corrupted.
So, saw that coming a mile away. Yeah.
It could be true.
Yeah. So at least I had Kyle to corroborate my story. So it really happened, I promise.
We had a similar experience. We did the Oshkosh Grand Opera House as well, and we stuck Boo Buddy down there, the talking bear, and we put a camera on him, and we let him run for about an hour. We did an Estes up on the main stage. We got done with that, went down there, turned off Boo Buddy, put him away, and then we went down there to try and interact and stuff. We did an Estes down there, and we were getting leave, get out, done, all this stuff. And we're like, wow, this is, really rude. Like, you told us you want us to come downstairs, you want us to come down here and everything. And after we got home, we reviewed it, and Boo Buddy had a full-on conversation with something in the basement. We got every question he asked in one whole segment. He got answers to every question. And then by this time, after they've answered all of his questions, then here we come down there to ask them all again. And they're like, no, we're done. We answered the bear's questions. We don't want to talk to you. And it all made sense then after that. It's like, oh, well, no wonder you didn't want to talk to us, because you've already answered all these questions and you're done for the night. So, but it's just fun things like that you learn on these investigations. That's good time.
Yeah. Well, apparently they must like kids and toys, because they seem to be more receptive towards that. So
Liam got a full-on conversation in that same basement using the Estes method, where they were going back and forth with him, and he was sitting in the chair. I think Maddie was talking to him.
Oh yeah.
And it was like an interview, and it was like answer yes and no. It was like back and forth for maybe 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
this was in that, when you go down the stairs on the back of the stage, this wasn't the farthest back one. It was the second one out. Is where we were in. Yeah,
that's where we were with the symphony dancing.
That was a fun room.
Yeah, it was. Then actually that one was one where we felt like we walked in, it felt heavy. It felt really heavy when I walked in there, and it was like kind of hard to breathe a little bit. So that was interesting.
I don't know if we had anything like that in there. We were in the both of those rooms, but I can't remember. I don't know. Just it didn't want us in there when we were down there in person. It just didn't want us, didn't want nothing to do with us. It was done. So
yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Awesome. Well, you guys will have to come out and check out, maybe not a kid-friendly location, but we do run the paranormal investigations at the Bean Snappers Haunted Gentlemen's Club up in Mackville, Wisconsin. And it is honestly one of the most active locations that we've ever investigated.
Okay.
So we have not had a tour come through there that has not had activity in almost 3 years now. So it's a really fun location. You guys gotta have to come check it out, because it seems like you've been everywhere else that we've been. So
yeah, we try. Have you ever been to the Karsten?
Nope.
Okay, definitely should go there.
Okay. We typically don't go places unless we're called, because like we're so busy with our own research and stuff that unless somebody says, hey, come investigate this because we want answers, we don't do a lot of like the touristy places. We ended up doing like the Oshkosh for certain reasons, the Grand. We ended up doing the jail because Phantasm Paranormal is one of our sponsors, so we worked that out with them and some of that stuff, so that's why we go to these different places. But like Baraboo Inn, we've never been to Shakers, we've never been to any of those, just because we don't have time. We got so much other stuff and private, people's houses and stuff, investigations and that we do, that we just don't got time for all this.
We're just not that cool yet, so we have to go find them.
They haven't come to us yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Oh, I was going to ask you, do you guys do like private investigations, or have you had anything like that?
We've had one person ask us to come in, and then when we tried to set something up, then they kind of were like, oh no, just never mind. So no, we would love to do that though. I mean, like I said, it's definitely a hobby. So, but we would like it to be more. I mean, we really enjoy it. So it's one of our favorite things to do. So, and if we could not have to work anymore and just go on the road and do road trips, absolutely.
That's the way to do it. That's the other reason I go to some of these locations is because I go to certain conventions and stuff to speak and do a presentation, and then they have these events tied with it. So then I get to go do all these other fancy, locations and hotspots and stuff because it's part of the convention or whatever that I'm at. But that's always always a bonus too. So very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Thank you again for being a sponsor of the Cryptids, Anomalies, and Paranormal Convention in May. You guys have a YouTube channel. Tell everybody where that is. You have a Facebook group as well. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So our YouTube channel is pretty easy to find. Look for the green ghost guy here. It's Fear Itself Paranormal Investigations. Make sure you type in all of that. I think the handle is at Fear Itself Paranormal, so it's not as long. But we've got a bunch of different things on there. Sometimes the kids like to post things on there too. So like right now we have stuff from Squid Games on there. So that my son made, which actually was fantastic because it brought a lot of views. So yeah. And then we're also on Facebook as well. Same thing, Fear Itself Paranormal Investigations. It's a smaller group, so we're looking to grow. And we just like to have people, we kind of keep everybody up to date on things that we're doing, events that are coming up, things like that. So it's not just like, hey, look at us, look at us, look at us. We like to hear other people's stories. It's a real small community that we would, a paranormal community that we'd like to grow. And that way everybody can kind of, watch and read and have fun.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about right there.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, it's been an absolute blast having you guys on. All that stuff, your YouTube channel and links is in our show notes, and it is also available at wisconsincaps.com under the CapCon convention page. You can find all of our sponsors listed there and direct links to you guys as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I look forward to having you guys out here in May for the convention. And if you guys want to meet them, you can come out there and see them, ask them your questions, and share some stories and stuff as well. So it's gonna be a
we love to hear them. Yeah. We love to hear them.
Very awesome. All right, guys. Well, you take care, and I will see you in a couple weeks.
All right. Bye. Thank you, everyone.
All right, guys, that is our show for this week. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you head on over to Fear Itself Paranormal's YouTube channel and check them out on Facebook. The links, as I said, are in the show notes of today's show, as well as on the Wisconsin Caps website under the Cryptids, Anomalies, and Paranormal Convention down at the bottom under sponsors. So if you're interested, go check that out. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share everything here on the Untold Radio Network and Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. Until next time, guys, remember, we're all part of the paranormal spectrum. Until next time, stay well, take care. I'll see you next week.